This is Nelson Perez from the Coconut Investment Group out of Costa Rica. We met, I don't know, probably what, 4 years ago now, and
Yeah, I think four.
4 years ago now. So, and I kept trying to avoid them on they kept wanting to talk to me about coconuts, and I had so many things going on. They finally cornered me, luckily, before I left, and looks like somebody else popping in here. But they sat me down and showed me this coconut opportunity that they have, and just talking about coconuts around the world and how right, there's a shortage of coconuts right now. There's like the prices of coconuts continue to go up because over in Asia, where we typically get all of our coconuts from, these trees, they have like a life cycle, and once they're at the end of this life cycle, they stop producing coconuts. So these countries that don't have government subsidies, so they don't have the opportunity to where the government's going to pay them to dig up their trees and replant them and wait like 3-4 years to get new coconuts. So this and then on top of that too, like the coconuts coming from Asia take what, 21 days to get over here or more. From Costa Rica, it's like a 7-day process. You guys plant these short little trees that you can just walk up to and pick the coconuts versus having to climb 30 feet in the air. And so yeah, so a lot of good things have happened with what you guys have going. And I know you brought out a bunch of farms in the beginning, slowed down for a little bit while you're building that out. Now you've pre-sold like 7 years of your coconuts and a lot of awesome things. But I guess I'll let you just take over and I'll stop putting words in your mouth, maybe.
No, you just continue,
Yeah,
Eric. You're doing a fine job, you know?
yeah,
No, but we met a while back, and we actually didn't corner the group. We actually tackled them and held them down.
yeah.
And then we spoke to them about coconut. I think it was the easiest way. Actually, the real story is we hit them with two coconuts over the head. We knocked them out, tied them up, and then we made them listen to what the hell we were doing.
Yeah,
So, but we are in Costa Rica. We This is an idea that was born basically in my swimming pool, believe it or not. And speaking to this one fella, and he told me about how coconuts and this, that, and the other, and the shortage that's coming up. So I always encourage everybody to do a Google search and just put coconut shortage and see what comes out. And actually, what comes out is that starting in the year 2026, 2027, there'll be a critical shortage worldwide. And what does that mean? What it means is that uh, coconuts, like Eric said, out in the Far East, they planted their trees probably around 70 years ago, and that's their maturity level. Once they get to 70, the trees don't die; they just produce less coconuts. Um, our variety of coconuts is called a Malaysian seedling young coconut trees, and basically we don't climb 40-foot trees. We don't need booms. Actually, our harvesters have to bend over to cut them. So it's only a 6 feet tall tree. We have right now 452 acres planted with a little over 70,000 trees on it. Like Eric said, we are very conservative and responsible. So what we did is we stopped the sale of farmland in order to better serve our current clients. We decided that we would not start any other offerings until I had in hand a contract for the purchase of all those 452 acres. And we did do that. We have a 10-year contract with to buy 100% of our fruit. Not only that, but any land, any farm that's sold from here on out will also be included in that. So even farmland that we have not sold or planted, their coconuts, whenever they do sell and start bearing fruit, then those are included in that contract. And that contract goes all the way through October of 2034. We also
Nice.
have a backup contract because I feel much more comfortable having backups because you never know. I mean, Eastern Airlines and Pan American Airways and some of those big companies are no longer around. So we do have a secondary contract that would assume the terms and conditions of the first contract. So we're fairly covered. And once we got those two, then that's when we decided to come up again and start offerings. And the offerings we're doing is basically very small. We only have about 6 farms that we feel comfortable. What we do is, and just to give you an idea of what it's like in Costa Rica. First of all, Costa Rica is a very stable country. We don't have an army. We're the oldest democracy in the Americas. We have peaceful transitions of power, and so it's a economically very safe country to invest in. And how our business model works. By the way, in Costa Rica, you have the same property rights as a citizen of Costa Rica. You can own property and never visit Costa Rica, or you can be a tourist, you can be whatever, it doesn't really matter. Your name gets put, or your company name would get into the national registry, and it's a deed, and it's in your company's name or your name, whatever you prefer. What we do, our business model is that we provide the land, but before that, we go and do the due diligence on it. We check the soil because we want to make sure at different points in the farm so that there hasn't been any kind of pesticides on in it or whatever. Once we clear that out, then we double check to make sure that there's proper drainage. We want rain on it. We want slight uh, standing water, but we don't want it to flood. We check the drainage out. Then after that, we check the lines of the property because some of these properties may have been marked off 30, 40 years ago. So what we do is we have our own topographer and he goes out there and maps out the property. We use drones and we use manual surveys as well. Once we have all of that clear, then we go to the National Registry. We want to make sure that everybody who is on the title, A, is alive. Because believe it or not, that's a big deal. Like in the States, if somebody's on the proper property and it's deceased, that's pretty easy to take care of. In Costa Rica, it's about a year to 2 year process to do that. So we want to make sure that everybody's alive and kicking, and whoever is the owner is the owner. So once we do all of that, then we put it up for offering, and then once there's an offer, it's the same, works the same as in the States. We work with our attorney that we closed over 30 properties with, very knowledgeable, and he does the same work that we do. So he does another layer of due diligence on top of ours. Then we also work with a escrow company that's bonded. We've done all our properties through them, and some of them have been rather large properties. So we go through them as well. Then they work with you on how to send the money to Costa Rica and they hold it. And then there's a form of closing and the money gets dispersed. That's basically the process. But let's talk about the coconuts. I think that that's the interesting part. Coconuts, I saw a study that went over a 10-year period. And in a 10-year period, the worldwide production of coconuts had increased by about 16%. However, in that same time frame, the demand increased by 600%. So you can see there's quite a gap there that I forecast that it'll never be closed. But what happened recently is that growth has started to diminish because of the age of the coconut farms in the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Let me just give you an example. What does that mean? Uh, in Vietnam, as an example, who's one of the major producers of coconuts, what they do is their trees are these gigantic 40-foot trees. They're now producing approximately 50 coconuts a year. Okay, so how does that compare to what we do? We plant 372 coconut trees, but 1 acre of the first year of production. And it takes about from planting to the crop coming out takes about 32 months. At 32 months, 33 months, 31 months, it's nature. When they come out, the first year of production is approximately 20,000 coconuts per acre. The second year of production is 30 to 32,000 acres, 32,000 coconuts per acre. And the third year of production, it ramps up to about 50,000. And then that lasts for another 26 to 30 years at 50,000. So when you consider that Vietnam right now is producing 50 coconuts a year per tree, you can see how that is economically not sustainable because to harvest it, you got to climb up. It's a costly harvest. So, and like Eric said, their ships take 21, sometimes 24 days to get there. There is a shelf life on the coconuts. Ours get there in 5 to 7 days. Right now, our shipments to Fort Lauderdale or Miami is averaging about 5 to 6 days. So at the retail end of it, the 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 person who's selling it or company who's selling it retail has approximately 2 to 2.5 weeks more shelf life in order to move product than getting them from the Far East. So you can see what's happening. And it's the same thing for us sending to Europe. We're in a very strategic. Costa Rica has two major ports, one on the Pacific side, which is Cadera, which goes Australia, New Zealand, the Far East, and up the west coast of the US. And then the other side is Puerto Limon, which is on the Caribbean side, and it's a short hop to New Orleans, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, and up the East Coast. So we're strategically located uh, for the benefit of those that are buying it. They're able to buy larger quantities because their shelf life is considerably longer than those from the Far East. So that's where we are with our sales. And so one of the things that people always ask is, all right, so you're producing right now, we're producing approximately 15 to 16 million coconuts a year at optimum production. So, that's a lot of nuts. What are you going to do with that, So, like I said, we have them all sold. If you go to your local Sam's Club, you'll find them in a 3-pack. It's just a nut. We take the husk out, and they're there. Next year we'll be expanding to Walmart, Costco, and sometime this early fall we'll be at Disney as well. So it's a product that's in very much demand. And just to give you an idea, you know, how it's changed when we first started, basically 3 years ago, one coconut off the tree was worth approximately 3 US cents, 0.03. Today, we're around 0.20. So 20 cents to 3 cents. It's gone up considerable here in the last 2.5 to 3 years. Where it's going to head, I predict that it's going to go higher because of the demand. Our coconuts are the young green coconuts. They're a Malaysian seedling, and being a Malaysian seedling is extremely important. That's all we plant. We are one of 6 companies in Costa Rica that's certified with Malaysian seedlings. Malaysian seedling is the only seedling that's allowed to come in as a coconut into the US or into the EU. We're certified not only to ship, but recently we got the certification to also be able to ship our seedlings overseas. As a matter of fact, we've had inquiries from Guatemala, Colombia, Ghana, some other place that is looking at buying seedlings as well. So it's an important, every shipment gets their certification, and they have to put that with their documents when they go to the US. So I'll give you one example, if I could. We have, like I said, we start out with 6. We stopped selling until I was sure that we would be able to sell our entire production, and we're there now. But we've gotten 6 properties, and once we do those 6 properties, then that's about it. We're closing down shop again.
I
So we
I can show our screen here too. I don't know. I still have that one that I put on our website that kind of has some of the information about that for 7.3. It's the
Yeah,
17.89.
that one sold already.
Okay. Well, we could maybe
That
go
one
through it,
sold. Yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe just kind of talk about how it works, I guess, maybe. And,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how it works, our business model is this way. So you have, for example, this is one here that Eric's got, and I got another one here on my computer. The one that I have here is 55.86 acres. Okay. It's currently up for 348,000. Uh, then our business model is we do not charge any maintenance or any money to run your operation. We do it all. We do it all from, like I said, the processing of the property to make sure everything is cool. Uh, then we also then provide the seedlings. We plant them for you. We maintain it for you. In 30 to 32 months, the seedlings produce fruit. All we take, we do not take any like other investments who charge you upfront. We don't do any of that. We have sweat equity in the game. So you don't get paid until we get paid. When you get paid, we get paid. And that's in 30 months. So we actually work in 30 months to be able to get a return for ourselves. And the commitment is 5% of the crop is what we take, and we have 5% ownership of the property, and that's about it. All our investors really don't worry about it. They're all over. They're from West Africa to Italy to Canada to the U.S., and we take care of their entire property. We send them uh, Zoom calls I'll make from out there, or we send them drones, photos. Uh, so it's kind of like a passive income. Uh, and then once we're all done, then our coconuts are taken off the tree, your tree, and they're taken to a processing plant. At that point, we go ahead and do an invoice, and you'll get paid. And there, right there, is what the annual maintenance looks like. Uh, in that in the properties, that's what we commit to do. Everything is done with contracts. So they're all bound and legal. They get put into Costa Rica's files, and we do. Actually, we do a lot more. We do four. It says there like year one and two, we do four cleanings. We're now averaging about 5 to 6 cleanings in a year, because as you know, when it rains, grass grows. We don't cut the grass all the way down. We like to leave it about 2 inches above your ankle, give or take, because we want the nutrients to stay there. We only use three nutrients. One is cal, which balances the pH. The other one is chicken manure, and then the last one is sea salt. Sea salt makes it sweet, the coconut, and the chicken manure helps it grow, and the cal balances the pH. But that's our annual maintenance program. And when you divide it all out, it's actually, when you maximum production, it's about 0.016 cents per coconut. So it's about a penny and change per coconut. And there's the productions on this 7.3 hectare, which is approximately 16, 17 acres. And the growth per acre, trees per acre, is about 174. It could be 172 or it could be 180. Kind of depends on the drainage that's there, and the second harvest, and so forth and so on. Like I spoke to you before. But again, we have like 5 or 6 properties available, and once we're done, we're done. We're done with that. There's your annual income. You should be able to break even at about 58 months is when you start to recoup all your investment. And of course, then that lasts all the way through another 25 years past that. So it's a long-term investment. Uh, this is, like I said, a small property, but you will make 125 to 60 a year. and that's based on 16 cents a coconut. I couldn't tell you what it's going to be like 5 to 10 years from now, but one can imagine if 2.5 years ago it was 30 cents and
Yeah.
these we're done at 16. I mean, you can
Yeah.
imagine where it's heading. So, but I
Yeah.
don't like to say, well, shit, it's going to be $2 a coconut. I don't want to do that, you know. But
Right.
that's really conservative to what it is today, and that's also based on the current exchange rate of the colon and the dollar.
Gotcha.
So basically, that's the entire program. We're very transparent. We encourage everybody to come and visit our operation. Uh, we're the largest coconut cooperative in Central America. And soon when we add these other, this one's already been sold, but with the other five that we have left come up, those as well will be the largest coconut cooperative in the Americas. We're very uh, involved in our community up there. It's the poorest in Costa Rica. We work with the local schools. We have a not for profit that we also assist local needy farmers. So when a farmer usually has 1 or 2 acres and they're needy, they work for some of the bigger conglomerates of the U.S. that I don't want to name, but Dole, Del Monte, and Chiquita Banana come to mind. They get paid about $400 to $600 a month for cutting the fruit. Uh, it's not enough to live on. So what we're proposing is all of our farms are partner farms now in this endeavor. We provide an option to adopt a tree. So you adopt a tree, we plant a tree. And what do we do with the planted tree is we give the local needy farmer a tree, a seedling. We give them all the sea salt and all the chicken manure. We also provide the expertise on planting and harvesting. And all of a sudden that needy farmer now becomes an entrepreneur. And if he has 2 or 3 acres, when it comes time to harvest, he's going to need to hire a couple of fellows, and now he becomes an employer. So that's what we're doing out in our community. Plus, we work with the local school that's the autistic center for the entire area, and they're needy as well with a need for equipment and so forth. But you know, if anybody wants to check us out. Eric has our contact information, or just you can go onto our website, which is www.coconutinvestmentgroup.net. There's a contact there page, and you can hit that contact page and send us an email. And like I like to tell everybody, I'd rather you come to Costa Rica and check us out, you know, and see how we do, what we do, meet our folks out on the farms and walk the properties, and you can take a look. Then we take you over to our processing plant where those coconuts that come out of your farm, where they're processed and get ready to ship to Sam's Club and Costco and so forth. So we're a complete operation. We have our own trucks, we have our own tractors and so forth and so on. And it's really a nice endeavor. We pay more our employees than the aforementioned Chiquita, Dole, and Del Monte, even though we're a pimple compared to them. But we provide health care for our workers as well. So we're trying to do good, and we're trying to provide a positive, uh, safe opportunity for people who want to jump on board the cocoa train. And our motto is changing lives one coconut at a time. And that's what we're trying to do. So if anybody has any question, I'd be more than happy to answer. And welcome to Costa Rica.
It's awesome. Thank you. Yes, if anybody has any questions, just let me know, or just throw them out, throw them in the chat, or unmute and you can ask your questions.
I don't have any questions, but I do want to say that that's a nice look as far as like giving back to the community.
Yep.
I definitely love that. I think I watched the first video, man, a couple weeks ago, with the cocoa automation investment, and you were talking as well. Just and you're a funny guy too, man. Like you had me cracking up the whole time. I said,
I don't know about that, Mr. James, you know. I think it's just talking to Eric that brings it out on me.
yeah, man. But yeah, I just wanted to say, man, that's definitely a beautiful gesture, a beautiful look, and it says a lot. And that's actually why I even thought twice about it, is because I'm like, okay, cool. They give back to the community, and you know, you try to do more for your employees, and it just it's a good look, man. So just wanted to tell you that.
No, we appreciate it, and you know what? Both my wife and I are both Cubans, so what we're doing here in Costa Rica, we wish we could have done it back home in our own home country, but
Yeah,
as you know, that's not possible. Um, but yeah, I think what you leave behind is you leave behind, a good feeling for people, that you made an impact, even if it's one person, that's awesome, But if you can do two, three folks, and let me give you a short story real quick. We we um we do a Christmas party for our employees, and we have to do it in two shifts because we do it at the church hall, and it just doesn't house that many people. But what
yeah,
we do, instead of having a Christmas dinner for our employees, we have a Christmas dinner for their families and their extended families. I mean, before you know it, it's like a convention, and we give out, you know, useful gifts, complete dinner. But it was really funny because one of the girls that works for us had her younger daughter there, and she's like 6 or 7, and like we gave all the kids dolls and whatever. And this one girl was hugging her doll and crying and crying. And I go to the mom, why is she crying? She says, well, because this is the first Christmas gift that she's ever gotten. I go,
wow,
okay, well, don't you guys, I mean, what about Santa? He says, no, 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 no. We don't mention the name Santa, because then there's an expectation that Santa is going to come.
yeah,
So we don't mention Santa. And I'm going like, I can understand. Then at the school every year, at the start of the school year, we give book bags to the entire school full of paper and, and pins and like whatever. And there was one boy, just he wouldn't stop crying. And we said, what's wrong with him? He says, that's the first time anybody has ever given a gift to them. Now, Costa Rica, by the standards of our neighbors to the north and to the south, we're really like a first world country. But this particular area is very agricultural. So it's one of the poorest areas of Costa Rica. And, that's where we're trying to make an impact, that it goes beyond us and goes on into the future, because we're working on that with our not-for-profit. And actually, we've had a couple of meetings this weekend. We're partnering up with non-for-profits in the U.S. To be able to move funds from the U.S. to Costa Rica. And so hopefully we'll have a bigger impact than we have now. So
yes,
that's what we
that
do.
sounds nice, man. It's definitely
We're
sound
trying.
nice.
We're trying.
Mhm. Maybe you could touch on that a little bit more on the tree, like the donating a tree, like the
Yeah,
process and everything.
if you we have a separate website for our not-for-profit. It's www.sig green. So it's two G's there. Okay, CIGGREEN.org, and that shows you the program that we're doing. And you adopt a tree, and you get to give one tree. So in other words, you adopt one tree. We give a seedling away with a certification to a local farmer. And then that local farmer then is able to plant it. We provide all of the help uh, to plant, all the materials that he'll need. Uh, actually, as the time goes on, we'll be able to provide tractors if needed and so forth. So it's a really good project. And the other project is part of the donation of the tree goes also to the local school. That local school is the Center for Autistic Kids. They have 56 kids. There's another 40 to 50 that are not receiving any services. They're scattered around, so they're like a regular population. And so it just maybe like a month and a half ago, I went to I'm always there, and I said to the teacher, "What technology are you using, with these kids?" And she says, "Well, yeah, I downloaded a program that goes through the alphabet, but it gives, through pictures and whatever." And I said, "Oh, cool, cool. Can I see how it works?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." She just takes out her cell phone, her own personal cell phone, and she shows it to me. I said, "Yeah, but that's only 6 pictures. Where's the rest of the?" Well, my phone doesn't have enough memory to download other than the first 6 letters of the alphabet. I go, okay.
Wow.
I said, well, how do you take that and you show it to the kids so they can use it? She said, well, what I do is I pass my cell phone from kid to kid, from student to student. So 56 children, their entire uh, hardware and software is based on this lady's cell phone, personal cell phone. So I mean that's got to change. Uh, there's no way we're in 2024, and so we're working on that to provide that particular area with like a smart board and whatever laptops or whatever iPads, and load them complete with equipment. We've talked to Wake Forest University, so we're working on it. Trying to sell the sponsorship of trees, which is important, and uh, people will get back videos of the tree when we're giving away the seedlings. You'll get videos back of the school and how things are going. So it's a pretty good thing that we're working on there, and then hopefully it'll take off.
Okay.
It's awesome. On the farms that you have remaining, do you know like the sizes? Like what's the next largest or the smallest
Yeah,
size?
the smallest size is I'm gonna have to give it to you in hectares. And for example, here in Costa Rica, we measure land by hectares. One
Yep.
hectare is 2.45 acres. So just say 2.5 makes it easier. So the smallest one we have is approximately 22 hectares. So that's like 55 acres.
Okay.
And then they go up from there all the way up to 49 hectares, which is like 125 acres or so.
Yep.
So yeah, those are the range, and we only have 5 left. We had that small one there because
Yep.
we don't like to do very small farms. The reason is it just takes a lot of personnel. When you have a bigger farm, it's much more cost effective to work on.
Yep.
But that one is such a nice farm, and it was close to a couple others that we have in that area that we decided to include it. But more than that, relatively, for example, the one I spoke to you before I mentioned was 56, almost 56 acres for 348,000.
Yeah.
You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? So yeah, it's pretty good. And
Yeah.
then we have others that are 49 hectares, 125 acres or so, and that one's going for like 700,000.
Okay.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we're trying to put together, maybe a group or something like that where you come in with a group and some people put
Right,
some money in and we try to, split it up so we can come in where somebody's not coming up with the full amount, or if anybody out there that is able, it's open to anybody, but we're trying to put something together so we could make a purchase happen maybe through a group or something and set
right.
up an LLC.
Yeah, and this is just like I said before, this is the last of the offerings that we'll do. Because once we hit this offering, we should be up, give or take, around 700 to 800 acres. And then that would be it. So, and we have other plans in the works to help with the ROI of anybody who's invested with us. The question there, I guess it depends on the size of the property, and I guess it would depend on the number of folks that are in the group.
Yeah.
That,
So my plan is I'm going to put the video out. I'm going to put out the word to everybody. If you want to send me the numbers on that, you know, maybe on that 55 acre, the 55
Yep.
acre one, that one, and
Yep.
I could update our website to have the real numbers on that, and then we could see then I could start breaking down the numbers and actually send out what that would look
Yeah.
like. So I'll put that out over the next maybe few days here.
Yep. And also, if anybody has any corporate friends that are interested in sponsoring trees, there's a couple of things that work really well. One is that you're helping the environment, because coconut trees are one of the ones that sequesters most carbon out of the air. So you're helping the environment. We plant another tree, so that helps the environment. Then you help a needy farmer. So there's a social economic aspect of that. And then at the same time, we're helping the schools. So if somebody knows any corporate that needs to do something for not-for-profits, then, you know, please give us a call and let us know. And you know, it's a good thing also for them. We'll put them up on our website that they contributed. We'll even make a sign and put it up on the farm. This farm is sponsored by X, you know, so it's a good thing as well.
Do they get is there carbon credits involved with that?
Yeah, we can do carbon credits as well. We're looking at putting them up on the on NFTs. So we've been working on that as well, but that'll take, we're down the road with that a little bit, but it's also a possibility. And if anybody knows of a corporation that's interested in that, just let us know, and we'll definitely send you updates where we are with that. But we should be up with carbon credits probably within the next 2 months, 3 months.
Perfect.
But I like the other idea of adopting, because you can also say, the corporation can say, yeah, you know, we do help the environment. Look how many trees we have sponsored. And because of our sponsorship, we're able to plant, you know, the double the amount. Plus, look, we're also helping here. And, you know, it's more than just helping the environment. It's kind of across the board, you know, so it's a really good thing, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, by the way, we will buy those farmers that we give the seedling away. We give them a contract, and we will buy 100% of their fruit. We'll include it with our sale, but we'll give them back 95% of the sale. And we truck it and cut it and whatever.
Nice.
Any updates on the coconut pallet factory? Is that still
Yeah,
happening?
we're working on that as well. We've gotten a lot of interest. Actually, we had a couple of Zoom calls yesterday, as late as yesterday. One was Friday, where, you know, so we take the nut, you know, you have the green, the husk is green. So we take the husk out, we take the membrane around, and all you have is the nut, the center of it. That's what we take the fibers off, we polish it, and then we send it off to Sam's Club. The other is waste. We are looking at a couple of things, making pallets out of it. We've got some interest from Spain to do that as well. We include in our shipments to Sam's Club straw. That straw is made out of bamboo. Bamboo is very expensive, so we're looking at machinery to take our husk and convert it into straws made out of the husk, which is as strong and obviously a lot less expensive. The other thing, we just spoke to a company yesterday that's interested in making into biomass fuel. So we'll see where that goes. So there's a lot of interest in doing the husk. We calculate that we have approximately 20 tons daily of coconut husk waste. So that's in process. One company wants to get involved and they're doing a lot of the analysis and testing on it. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to take a waste product and make it into something useful and beneficial. So yeah, we're working on it.
Cool.
Other than that, we're not doing anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We gotta host an Airbnb, get some Airbnbs and host an event down there.
Yeah,
All
everybody
out.
comes.
Yeah.
Mr. James, you can drive your truck all the way down here.
Yeah.
I
And we'll
wish, man.
and we'll load it up with coconuts and you can take it all the way back.
Yeah. There you go.
And it'll have to be refrigerated though, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
No slacking off.
Yeah.
No slack, man.
No
No,
slack.
I'm not a good slacker, man. I do the opposite of slacking, man. That's that's why I be trying to. I was talking to Mr. Eric, them, man. Everything I've been doing with them in these last couple of days, man. I've been moving at the same time. Like I've been behind the wheel and trying to, do different things, and
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
little difficult, man. But I do
but you
know
know
that.
what? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
Like for example, I think everybody who's online, and usually people go, well, what kind of business do you do? And even Eric at the beginning when we first met, well, what kind of business are you in? We're coconut farmers, and they all go like, what? I mean, how many coconut farmers have you met? Like usually you haven't met
Right.
any. And the reason why it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and there's a gazillion moving parts to it, you know. So it isn't easy. So, but that's what you got to do. You got to keep plugging ahead, and like my grandpa would say, never look back.
Yes, sir.
There's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where we're at, and that, like I said, we're Cubans, so we try not to look back because everything that we had at one point was lost, and so we don't look back, we look forward,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
And,
How often
sir.
do you ever make it to the US?
yeah, not very often because we
Mhm.
have there's a couple of IRS rules that are
Mhm.
kind of crazy, but like we have to stay. We can only be in the U.S. for 30 days, and they count it by. They know exactly how many days you're in the U.S. because when you go through customs, or
Yeah.
immigration, they swipe your passport. If you're 30 days and 2 minutes, then you lose credit for your taxes for that year. So if you live overseas, you're tax exempt about 122,000 of your first 122,000 in income. So I make sure that we're nowhere near that, because so we don't go back to the US often. We were there for a wedding of my niece, and we'll be back at end of middle of October because Allie's having her class reunion. So other than that, then back this way, we were in Spain, and we have potential orders in Spain of 1.4 million green coconuts, not dehusked or anything, just want them green to Spain. We have another account that we're working on in Spain where the guy's got like 30 spots that they do coconut ice cream, everything dealing with coconut custard. So he's looking also at doing some things with us. Trinidad Tobago, we were there recently. They want 60,000 units a month. Uh, Qatar is looking at 2 containers a week. A container takes about 38,000 coconuts to fill. So it's a booming industry that few people know about. And the folks that got in with us at the beginning are literally on the ground floor. And so this is still an opportunity, and then off we go. Plant more coconuts.
Mhm. Awesome.
They took
That's
me
awesome.
off the tractor. They don't let me drive it anymore.
Yeah.
No, because I'm going, hello, I know, so I go forward, but I at one point there's a tree right in front of me, so I either go through the tree or I back up, right? Well, when I did the backup, I pour whatever it is, Mr. James probably knows, whatever it is, the damn thing would not go backwards. So I had to be pulled backwards. So they don't let me on the tractor anymore,
Yeah.
which I thought was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did Mr. Nelson. I don't think they did, man.
Yeah, I don't know what their deal is, but I couldn't back up, and I'm going like, well, shoot, man, what do I do now? So I had to whistle for them to come and rescue me and they had to we had to bring our second tractor over, no, tractor number 2 over from another nearby farm to pull that tractor out of where I put it.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
man.
well, nothing you can do, it's part of them now leaving me out of the tractor operation. I don't know why. It was a lot of fun. So we're
That's
thinking of putting Eric out on that tractor when he comes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, actually, my grandparents were farmers up in North Dakota. I used to drive for tractors, so I could,
Oh, then
I
yeah,
could
then
do
you
it.
would be able to figure out how to back it up
Yeah. Right.
without tearing it.
Right.
So
Cool.
I will send you that last property so you can put it up. And again, anybody can call Eric or uh, through our website, you can reach out. So absolutely,
Yeah.
be happy to.
I just put that in there. That it just does take about 30 months from planting, right? So 30 months from planting to coconut
Yep.
production. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once it starts producing at 30 months, you've got approximately another 27 years of uh, of generating income.
Yeah.
So, and and like I said, at the price of the coconut will continue to rise. So I base everything that you will see. I base it everything on current sale price and current exchange rate. I don't want to predict further than that because that would not be fair. And
Yeah.
I'd rather do what it is, and I extend it out at the same cost all the way down to whatever the last is that I put on my charts, because I think it's important to understand that this is what it is today. But if you do a little research on Google, you're going to see what they're talking about. I mean, there's until the year 2027, there will be a $6 billion increase in the sale of coconut water. That's 6 billion increase. But what's happening is whoever did that just analyzed sales figure and did a projection. But I'm not sure where they're going to get the coconuts to make that 6 billion. You know what I mean? So there's something called supply and then there's demand. So he calculated demand, but the big question is where are they going to get the supply to make that? So that in itself will drive up the price of the coconut as well. But I don't know, and I don't like to guess. I'd rather be conservative and prudent as to what we put out for people.
Yeah.
For sure. I would say all signs point towards a continuing rise in those prices. I mean,
Oh,
20
there's no
cents, 30
doubt.
cents, 40, 50, 60 cents, whatever it goes to. I mean,
I mean,
that's double those numbers, those projections.
yeah, if you look at 2 years ago, it was 3 cents, something
Yeah.
somewhere in there. And I did these projection at 16, but since I did those projections, it's gone up almost 3 more cents per coconut. Now,
Yeah.
how much is it going to be 10 years from now? I have no idea. But
Yeah.
it's not going to be 16 cents a coconut.
No. Yeah.
No. And
That's
then all
the
our contracts are based on a low end. So our contracts, even if, let's for argument's sake, let's just say the coconut prices drop to a penny, we still get the 16 cents.
yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah,
it
that's good to
protects
know.
everybody.
Yeah.
It
Perfect.
protects everybody. So that's how we build it.
Perfect.
All right.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for all the information, and I'll get this recording out. I'll cut it up and get it out like right tomorrow, hopefully, and then we'll
No worries.
can
And
put
I
the
will
word.
send you this one now. Okay, Eric? I'll give you
Yeah.
this one that I have. And
Okay.
thanks to everybody who signed on, and thanks to everybody who will look at it as well.
Cool. Awesome,
Well,
man.
Thank
Nelson.
you.
All right, Bob.
Yep. Have a good one.
Later, guys.
Bye bye.
Pura vida.
All right.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.